Grandpa stole his first buggy in 1892. I met your grandma pig slopping in 46.
Oh, every Christmas we'd visit my Uncle Fred in prison.
Welcome to another awe-inspiring episode of Extreme Genes, America's family history show at extremegenes.com. It is Fisher here, your radio root sleuth, on the program where we shake your family tree and watch the nuts fall out. And this episode is brought to you by BYU TV's Relative Race. Nice to have you along, Genies. We have some great guests today. One of them is Gretchen Jorgensen. She's with Legacy Tree Genealogists, and she's going to talk to us coming up in 9 or 10 minutes or so and talk about maximizing your DNA matches on Ancestry.com. There are lots of little tools there that a lot of people don't know about. You're going to find out more about that from Gretchen. Then later in the show, Tara Bergson will be here talking about 2019 Roots Tech. Yeah, it's coming right up, and there are a lot of changes happening this year. If you're not familiar with Roots Tech, it is the largest family history conference in the world, and it'll be happening in Salt Lake City, Utah at the end of February and early March. And they're doing another one in London, by the way, next year in October. So we're going to hear about that, what the changes are. You're going to want to catch that later on in the show. And Tom Perry, talking preservation, is going to introduce you to SD cards, why they're important, how to pick the best one. It's all coming up at the tail end of the show. Hey, we're having a lot of fun with our weekly Genie newsletter. If you haven't signed up for it yet, it's really easy to do. Just go to our website, extremegenes.com. You can also sign up through our Facebook page. And we've actually doubled the price recently. It's now $0. $00. But nonetheless, lots of links to great stories you're going to enjoy, past podcasts, and a blog from me as well. And it comes out once a week. So get signed up. We would love to have you as part of our weekly Genie family. And don't forget to sign up also for our Patrons Club, where you can support the show and get all kinds of great benefits. Sign up also at extremegenes.com. But right now, let's head out to a very happy David Allen Lambert, who's cheering on his Boston Red Sox. Let's see how it's going for the chief genealogist of the New England Historic Genealogical Society and AmericanAncestors.org.
Well, it's going really well in Beantown for anybody who's a member of Red Sox Nation. I'll tell you, that was quite a beating the Yankees got in the Bronx by our boys from Beantown.
Yeah. I don't want to hear about that. All right, let's just...
Oh, come on, you're a Mets fan. What do you care about the Yankees?
Yeah, well, it's New York. You know, what can I tell you about that? By the way, congratulations to my friend David. He's got a book out that's been around forever. It's called A Guide to Massachusetts Cemeteries, and it just was released in its 3rd edition. And I know that helps out a lot of people. You started that when you were really young, didn't you?
Right out of high school. It started as a Rolodex. So, yeah, the 3rd edition just went to the printer last week. So just in about a month, we'll have it here at American Ancestors. But I'm really proud of it. It's gone from a Rolodex to being a book over 300 pages long now for every cemetery in every town.
Awesome. Very nicely done. All right, let's get going with our Familly Histoire news today. Where do we want to begin, David?
Well, we're going to begin in Sweden with a really cute story. 8-year-old Saga is a young lady who went out into the middle of the lake. She found what she thought was a stick, put it aloft, and she was holding a 1,500-year-old sword.
Wow.
It's amazing. They're calling her the Queen of Sweden because the Lady of the Lake gave her this sword. It's an amazing artifact of pre-Viking era. They kept this location secret because they wanted to go back and have the museum look for more artifacts, and they found a brooch and some coins. So the level of the lake had been down, and they're assuming that this may have been an area where their sacrifices were taking place 1,500 years ago.
Isn't that something? So, and they actually had traces of leather and wood, meaning the sheath was still on the sword. So they're in the process of restoring it. They've got it at a museum over there, and you'll be able to see it probably in about a year when they make sure that everything's stabilized and they've got it looking the best it can look.
Especially since it's been in the water for 1,500 years. It probably has to have a little bit of work done to it, that's for sure.
Unbelievable.
Well, then listen to this story. Now, this is about DNA-infused tattoo ink.
What?
So basically, yeah, exactly. I mean, back in 1977, the rock group Kiss had their blood mixed into the ink for a comic book. So I don't know if this has impressed them or not to do this, but basically, this company will take the hair from a beloved pet or the cremated remains remains of a deceased family member and mix it in with a chemical that becomes powdered ink that allows it to be put into a tattoo, so you can always carry Grandma with you in that heart you have on your sleeve. And the company's name is Everence, and apparently is becoming quite popular. I mean, we've talked about a variety of things. Remember the person who ate their ancestors' cremated remains?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's amazing what you can do with cremains, you know?
It really is, and it's one of those things that, you know, you just never know what's going to be new in the industry. I have my dog's cremated remains, but I don't think I need to have him on my shoulder.
No.
Well, we just celebrated Columbus Day the other day, and listen to this. A 500-year-old map that was done by a German cartographer called Henricus Martellus, which they believe is a similar map to what Columbus used. By technology, they have brought out legends and bits of descriptive text that have been faded for centuries. Now they can actually read it, and it makes a little clearer sense how they were using it. So this is kind of a nice leap for something from the past.
Wow. The discoveries just keep on coming.
They really do. Either they're being pulled from a lake or they're being pulled from a scanner. By the way, if you go to extremegenes.com, you'll find a link to the story about twins separated at birth. In fact, it talks about 15 people who went looking for their twins and 5 who chose not to. My blogger spotlight this week shines upon Rahkia Nance, who has a blog called the laconfidential.wordpress.com. In this blog, she talks about her African-American ancestors from Davidson County, Tennessee, going back to a Henry Nance, who was a slave that had been a runaway and who died back in 1926. Follow her interesting story of her African-American roots on the laconfidential.wordpress.com. Well, that's all I have from Beantown this week, but don't forget, if you're not a member of AmericanAncestors.org, you can use that great coupon code EXTREME for savings of $20. Catch you real soon, my friend.
All right, David, and good luck to your Sox in the baseball playoffs.
Thank you.
All right. And coming up next, this is going to be a really great segment. Gretchen Jorgensen will be talking with me from Legacy Tree Genealogists about maximizing your DNA matches. And if you're looking to extend lines or confirm some of your research, it's a great way to go. And she's going to share with you some tools you might not know are available on Ancestry.com. That's coming up in 3 minutes on Extreme Genes, America's Family History Show. Hey, Genies, it is Fisher, and we are into another week of the Vivid Picks Fix. And if you haven't heard about this, go back and listen to my visit with Rick Voigt, the co-founder of Vivid Picks, talking about the software they've created called Restore. Now, with Restore, you do not need technical training. In fact, you hardly need any technical knowledge at all, because Restore will fix your pictures. It'll restore contrast. It'll restore lighting. It will restore color and give you actually 9 different pictures to choose from for you to say, oh, that's the best one. And then you move on to your next picture. And right now with the Vivid Picks Fix, you can get 10 of your favorite photographs fixed for free. Link through extremegenes.com. You can go to vivid-picks.com/extremegenes. And then when you get your pictures back, we'd love to have you share them with us on our Facebook page so we can all marvel at your incredible technical prowess. It's Vivid Picks and Restore. Go to vivid-picks.com/extremegenes for your 10 free picks.
Ever wonder where you got your bright green eyes or your infectious laugh? Thanks to technology, discovering your family story has never been easier. And we're bringing it all together at RootsTech, the world's largest family history conference. Registration for RootsTech 2019 is open. Join us February 27th through March 2nd for this incredible 4-day event at the Salt Palace Convention Center in Salt Lake City, Utah. Learn from over 300 classes on topics such as DNA, capturing family stories, and preserving legacies. For a limited time, take advantage of promotional pricing. Purchase a 4-day pass for only $209 if you register before January 25th. That's $90 off a regularly priced pass. Explore over 200 exhibits in the expo hall and interact with the latest technology. Join the excitement, join the fun. Discover your family, discover yourself. Discover RootsTech, February 27th through March 2nd at the Salt Palace Convention Center in Salt Lake City, Utah. Register today at rootstech.org.
Hey, Genies, Fisher here with a shout out to our Patrons Club members at patreon.com/extremegenes. This is where friends of the show support Extreme Genes for as little as $1 a month, all the way up to the cost of a very nice burger each month. I mean, a really juicy one. You can support the show and enjoy various special Patrons Club member benefits, such as acknowledgement on extremegenes.com, special bonus podcasts from expert guests like Maureen Taylor, the photo detective, C.C. Moore, your genetic genealogist, great storytellers and experts on record sets from all over the world. We even offer expert advice on specific questions challenging your research. So go to patreon.com/extremegenes and get signed up. We love sharing your genealogical journey with you on our Extreme Genes Patrons Club. After all, what would you rather have? Inspiring and informative content or another greasy burger? The choice is yours. And thanks for supporting Extreme Genes. Hey, welcome back. It's America's Family History Show, Extreme Genes and extremegenes.com. Fisher here, your radio root sleuth, and this segment is brought to you by FamilySearch.org. You know, we always love talking DNA on the show, and I've got Gretchen Jorgensen, a DNA specialist with Legacy Tree Genealogists, on the line with me right now. Gretchen, we haven't met before, but it's great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
How did you get started in specializing in DNA?
Well, about 3 years ago, my husband and myself tested with Ancestry DNA, and I mostly just wanted to see what all the fuss was about because I was hearing about DNA testing on message boards, Facebook groups, and I didn't have any particular issue I was trying to solve. I just kind of wanted to see what the results looked like, and when we got them back, it was just really fun. You know, there were some names that I recognized, and we were able to kind of fill in some holes and some lines that had been brick walls. So that's how I got going. Yeah.
Yeah, the brick wall breakthrough is always fun, isn't it? And DNA is the ticket for an awful lot of lines like that, or at least confirmation, right, of what you're looking for. And that helps so much. So you've recently written an article, which is on the blog site for legacytree.com, about understanding your ancestry DNA match results. And I thought maybe this would be a great opportunity for you to share some of those points, because I think a lot of people would like to have a better experience.
Sure. Yeah, and I think that the results can be overwhelming at first, especially for people that maybe don't know so much about their family history to begin with, or, you know, maybe you only know back through their grandparents or great-grandparents. And if your matches are more distant than that, it's not atypical to not recognize anybody when you first look, and that that's not really a comfortable feeling, I think, for most people. So I wrote that article just to kind of help give some strategies to figure out who the people are.
Sure, and that's really important stuff. And it's time-consuming, too, and especially if you don't know what you're doing. So where would somebody start, would you say, when it comes to getting their matches? They just got them in through Ancestry DNA. You're looking through the thing. I would imagine you'd want to start with people you know and say, oh, look at that. There's Fred, and yeah, that's my cousin. And you kind of get that sense of the lay of the land, right? And the idea that, oh, look, that's accurate. You know, they're a second cousin right in that range.
Right, exactly. If you do see some people that you know, close relatives or even a little more distant, that's ideal. If you've got somebody that you know how you're related to them, then you can start to figure out who else do you share DNA with that they also share DNA with, and those people probably descend from the same common ancestor.
Sure.
So it becomes kind of a filtering process. So target testing some of your relatives can help with that. If you're really at a loss, get one of your cousins to test, and that will help kind of sort it out for you.
I mean, I don't think there's any more important button on the Ancestry site than that shared match button, right?
I agree. Yeah, absolutely. That's the key thing that I use all the time in my work, trying to find people's families, and understanding those shared matches is of paramount importance.
It's really complicated sometimes, though, when you start going from, okay, well, I've got a match to this one, and I still not recognizing. You go to the matches of the matches, and sometimes you can start to break it open that way. Have you had that experience?
I have. That's something that you need to be a little bit careful with. You don't want to take too many hops and assume that the person is still related to the first person that you started with, especially if you've got colonial U.S. ancestry with a lot of matches or that sort of thing. But I do that all the time with my own matches. If I find somebody that I don't recognize, I will mark in the notes field matches known, Smith, Jones, descendant, or whatever line they are, and then I'll look at the shared matches with that person, and I will say match to matches of something. I typically don't go any farther than that in my own research, but eventually that information can be really helpful because, especially if you're working with more distant matches, not everybody's going to match everybody else, but that doesn't mean they're not related, if that makes sense.
And that makes a lot of sense. There are a lot of little tools on Ancestry, I think, that are underutilized that I think are really helpful. And you just mentioned one of them. That's the little note area for matches. And people are worried maybe that some of these people will see that, but of course you can't see that. It's just for your own personal notes on your own account.
Right.
And you can mark all kinds of stuff there, which means you don't have to click into that to see how they're related. Just click on the notes and you'll see the whole thing. You can put in there how many centimorgans you share, who you think this person might be related through, what the common ancestor might be, what the relationship is. I'll often put in, 3C to R for third cousin twice removed or something like that. And by keeping track of that, it just makes it a whole lot easier than going through and going, now where did we tie to that person again?
Right. Absolutely, because you think you're going to remember all of these things, and then a week goes by, and like, have I looked at this before? So that record-keeping step is fairly important. And with my own matches, if I know the relationship, third cousin or whatever, I'll put that in. I'll put the number of centimorgans that we share, so I don't have to look that up again. Right. Common ancestors if I know it, and then I will put in my match's entire ancestral line from the common ancestors to themselves. Those are nice things to not have to keep
looking up again and again and again.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
One thing I just wanted to add, you talked about not having to click into the match and being able to look at the notes from the main page, and there is an extension for the Chrome browser called MedBetter DNA that makes that even easier, that you don't even have to click on the little notes icon. You can configure that to display all of your notes on the page when you look at your main match page.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it's awesome. And then that makes it a little easier to do some searching. And I like to do that, especially with my first page of matches. I'm always kind of looking at that. Who's new? What's different? Who don't I know who they are? Those are the ones that really kind of get under my skin. If it's somebody that's in my first 50 matches that I don't know who they are, when I can see all the notes, then I can see who I don't know. And those are the ones that I kind of tend to focus on a little more.
I'm talking to Gretchen Jorgensen. She's a DNA specialist with Legacy Tree Genealogists. And Gretchen, how far back do you typically like to research your matches?
Well, it kind of depends on how closely related they are to me or to the person that I'm researching. So, if they share 60, 70 centimorgans, they're probably a third cousin, and so I want to go back at least to their great-great-grandparents. Sometimes you can go not so far, and then the connection becomes clear, but often you have to go at least that far, or maybe even a generation back. I don't research everybody that I encounter to fourth or fifth grandparents because there aren't enough hours in the day for that.
Yeah, right.
But it's a fine line between not spending too much time on everybody, but going far enough so that you're not missing something on a key person.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, when you go to break open brick walls, which I think is really the primary purpose of finding these matches, other than confirming maybe what you think you already know.
Right.
When you get back to the 5th to 8th, boy, it really gets complicated, and so many of them to try to sort through. And mom's side, dad's side, which line, and sometimes they're tied to multiple lines because you're from the same area. It gets really tricky. But if you can find them through the fourth cousins and at least break open your brick walls to the third great-grandparent level, that's pretty exciting stuff.
Right, it is. And I think I misinterpreted your previous question. But the 5th to 8th cousins, I look at some of them. I don't look at most of them. And I hear people comment on their total number of matches, including all of the distant matches. I have 20,000 matches. I can't look at them all. Well, of course, you're not going to, and that shouldn't be a goal.
No, ever.
I will focus on some that are in the 5th to 8th if they come up on a surname search. and then I'll explore that a little more. And, hopefully they might have some shared matches with some other people who are in my fourth cousin or closer list, and then that kind of gets my attention.
Right, and it's important for people to know, by the way, if you're trying to match people who are first through fourth cousins, they won't show you the matches you have in the fifth to eighth cousins. But if you go to the fifth to eighth cousins and click on matches, it will show you any closer relatives you have up to fourth cousins.
That's true, and that is a point of frustration for many Ancestry users, although I have to say now, 3 years into this, I really have come to see the wisdom of that decision on Ancestry's part. I think a 15 centimorgan cutoff would be nice as an add-on, but the processing power involved with that, I don't think it's going to happen. But I think it's better not to have your shared matches list muddied with, 7 and 8 centimorgan matches. I think that ultimately creates more confusion than clarity.
Yeah, that's true. It makes it difficult, though, when you're really trying to work on something a little bit further back.
Yes.
It would be nice to have the option, although I'm thinking if the option's there, then it's basically going to be all in or not, right?
Right. Yeah, in a former lifetime, I wrote software for a living, and so I've thought a lot about the implications of that sort of thing, so I would say don't hold your breath on that one. But,
yeah. What kind of improvements would you like to see on Ancestry?
Adding more colors to their stars would be huge.
and more stars.
Right. That, to me, is surprising that it hasn't been implemented yet, because it seems like it wouldn't be that difficult of a change, and I think it would be a real crowd pleaser for their customers.
Totally.
So that's one. And I'd really like to see more search capabilities. We've got the surname search. You can search a location.
But you can't do both.
You can't do both. And the ability to put in a first name, when you're searching other people's trees, especially if you have a really common surname that you're looking at. One of my husband's ancestral lines is Bates, and I can search Bates from Virginia, but it's just overwhelming, and most of them actually end up matching some of their line completely when I look at the shared matches. And if I could put in the first name and date of birth and that sort of thing, that would be incredibly helpful.
Well, some great ideas and great advice. Gretchen Jorgensen from Legacy Tree Genealogist, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you. This was fun.
Hey, and believe it or not, Roots Tech is closing in on us again. We're going to find out the latest on what to expect for our 2019 edition from Tara Bergson coming up next.
Looking for an easy way to show off your family history and share it with your family? Family Chartmasters offers beautiful custom pedigree art pieces and inexpensive family reunion draft charts in any design or size that fits your needs. With a free consultation at FamilyChartmasters.com, you can get started creating a new family masterpiece. Family Chartmasters has over 11 years of experience in creating and printing family charts. They can print any style genealogy chart from any genealogy file and can create exactly what you're looking for. You'll work with a specialized and talented consultant whose goal is to make you happy. Decorative charts make fantastic gifts for all occasions. And with Family Chartmasters' option of ordering duplicate charts at half price along with your original purchase at full price, you can afford to give a family heirloom to each member of your family. Contact Family Chartmasters today at FamilyChartmasters.com for your free consultation. Family Chartmasters will give the greatest care to your family history. Scientific studies have proven that youth who know even a little bit about their family history perform better academically and have a greater sense of personal confidence and stability. Genealogy is its own incredible superpower that arms our children with super strength. But how do you get your child or grandchild interested in studying their family history? That kind of stuff is just for grandmas, right? Not anymore. ZapTheGrandmaGap.com leaps the generation gap in a single bound. Author Janet Havorka provides you with useful and timely advice on helping the young people in your life become engaged in their own family history. Janet has an entire collection of books to inspire the young and the young at heart in fun, interactive ways. She also offers creative tips and advice on her blog and in her free weekly newsletter. Stop by ZapTheGrandmaGap.com today to sign up for Janet's free email newsletter with 52 weeks of easy tips, free downloads, and order your set of resource books and workbooks.
Hey, welcome back, Genies. It is America's Family History Show, Extreme Genes and ExtremeGenes.com. I am Fisher, your radio root sleuth, and one of the most exciting times of the year for anybody interested in family history and developing their family tree and finding stories and connecting with relatives is Roots Tech. It is the biggest family history conference in the world, and it's going to be happening this coming year, February 27th and 28th, March 1st and March 2nd. It's a 4-day conference, and I have the program chair for Roots Tech 2019 on the line with me right now. She's Tara Bergson. Tara, welcome back to Extreme Genes. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
You still sound energetic, considering I know all you must be doing, even though Roots Tech is still several months away.
Oh, it is several months away, but our team is always full of enthusiasm and excitement. I don't know that we ever hit a lull or a dead period.
Yeah, but you've got another one now, too, because you are doing a Roots Tech in London in October of next year.
Yes. So not only are we having Roots Tech Salt Lake, but we have added an event 6 months later in London. So we will hold Roots Tech London in October of 2019. And what an exciting opportunity this is, not just for Roots Tech, but also for those that have not been able to come to Roots Tech Salt Lake, that we're able to take this fabulous opportunity on the road. Yeah,
a lot of European friends will be able to make it there, many of whom we've met at Roots Tech over the years in Salt Lake City, Utah. All right, so let's go through this. There were a lot of thoughts last year about so many people. It's become so popular they couldn't get into rooms with some of the more popular classes. You've made some adjustments this year for Roots Tech, and I'm excited to hear about them.
Yeah, we definitely had some growing pains. One of those was our rooms. That is why people come. They love the sessions and the knowledge and the learning that they're getting. So one of the things we have done is we've removed the badge scanning. All rooms will not be scanned, but we do have a few things that need scanned, labs and lunches, anything someone's paid additional money for.
Sure.
We will need to scan, but for most of our attendees, the majority of them, those rooms will not be scanned. So that will help significantly as far as getting into the classrooms. The other big one is we created a massive room that will seat 3,500 attendees.
Wow.
And as I've done the schedule and worked on that for the last couple months, the classes we're putting in there are the ones that are the hottest topics. Lots of DNA sessions, lots of sessions from family search, ancestry, those things that people are craving more knowledge on and really want to learn from.
And then I love what you've gotten going with the power hours. Explain what that's about.
So this is a new thing we're adding for 2019. We wanted to be able to add as many sessions as possible, but we also know people consume information in very small snippets now. We've done a lot of studies about this, and about 12 to 15 minutes is where people are really captivated, and after that we all kind of are like, oh, okay, I've heard this before. So we're instituting what we're calling power hours. So Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of Roots Tech, we'll have sessions that start at 8 a.m. I know that's super early because it's super early for me. But
yeah.
But it's okay. Bring your caffeine, whatever it is you need to get going in the morning. And as you come to these sessions, each room will be dedicated to a specific topic, such as DNA. So you'll go into the room where we're teaching on DNA, and it will be 3 quick, short sessions on DNA. It might be, someone that talks about all the DNA tests that are on the market, someone that talks about what DNA is. Maybe we need a basic DNA lesson, and a third person who might talk about an experience they've had with DNA. But short, quick, no longer than 15, 20-minute sessions, 3 of them taught in an hour every morning.
Oh, and it's going to be fun. I'm part of Amy Johnson-Crow's team. She's going to be teaching Kurt Witcher, and I'm going to do a segment all on stories and collecting and saving them and recording them and all that. And it's going to be so much fun, and I really can't wait for this event. Now, you have another thing here. I love this. You're feeding everybody on the first day of the conference. Free lunch Wednesday.
Free Lunch Wednesday. We know that getting food at the Salt Palace is a struggle, and because you are in Salt Lake in the winter, it's a little cold and chilly to walk around downtown Salt Lake. But one of the things we've changed this year is every attendee will be provided a boxed lunch on Wednesday so that there's a place that, one, they'll be able to sit. We'll make sure all the rooms are available so that anyone can sit that needs to. And 2, everyone has food that's available to them.
Sweet. And the library, of course, is open late.
You can't miss the library if you're coming to Salt Lake.
No.
It is the family history capital, right? Everyone wants to come there. The knowledge and the information that's available at the Family History Library just will knock your socks off. But yeah, they have later hours.
I want to say
open.
11 o'clock. I mean, that's, I think, historically what it's been. Do you know?
It's late. I don't
late.
know right now if they've finalized those hours yet, but we'll make sure that the Roots Tech website has that updated information so
Sure.
that you can go and find your next family member, your new cousin.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be so much fun. All right, talk about the Ultimate Pass. That's another new thing this year.
It is. We want to give some people the opportunity to live and breathe Roots Tech almost like we live and breathe it. And so we've offered an Ultimate Pass. The cost on that pass is $499. But included with that is guarantee to get into the classes that you want. So we have that problem with rooms. This is one way that will get you into any class that you're looking for. We'll also have special meet and greets available, and we will have a group of people there to help you. If you need a water, we'll be there for you and make sure that your experience at Roots Tech really is an ultimate experience.
Very nice. All right. Now, do we have any speakers that you can yet announce?
Well, Steve Rockwood, of course, is on the docket as our CEO of Family Search. He'll kick off Roots Tech on Wednesday, and he will be joined by a group called Edge Effect. They're an a cappella singing group, and they'll bring in some fun and excitement during our opening session on Wednesday. We have kind of tweaked our keynotes this year. Our schedule, because of the power hour and some other things, we decided to move our keynote session from opening each day to the lunch hour. So all of our keynotes will be at 11 a.m. instead of at 8:30 as in previous years. The only one that's different is on Wednesday, of course, we'll end the day with Steve Rockwood's keynote and Edge Effect. And then, of course, we'll go into the opening of the Expo Hall for that 2-hour preview on Wednesday evening. But all other keynotes will be at 11.
And my good friend Jason Hewlett is going to be emceeing most of those events in the big hall, so that is going to be so much fun. And Tara, by the way, you have a special code for Extreme Genes listeners, and I love that. What do you got?
We do. We have a 10% off anytime you register between now and the conference. You can come and register on site if needed. They'll receive 10% off the current price. And that code is 19interview. And interview is all capitalized. So it's 19interview.
Sweet. And that's at rootstech.org, yes?
Yes. Just click on the registration button in the upper right-hand corner.
Perfect. How many booths are we looking at this year, by the way? For people who've never been to Roots Tech, I mean, the Expo Hall is just packed, and it gets bigger and bigger every year with new products and new ideas and new experiences for you to enjoy as well. And then, of course, the big Family Day is still in effect for Saturday, yes?
Yes, we're still having Family Discovery Day on Saturday. Those tickets are going faster than normal, as all of our Roots Tech tickets are this year. It's been a great year so far, but yeah, 300-plus booths in the Expo Hall. It's massive in size. It continues to grow. It will more than likely sell out. So if you're an exhibitor looking to come to Roots Tech, you need to get that application in quickly so that you don't miss out on a booth at our Expo Hall.
She is the program chair of Roots Tech 2019. She's Tara Bergson. And Tara, I can't wait. Roots Tech's coming right up. It's going to be a great time again.
Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you, Tara. And coming up next, we'll talk to Tom Perry, our preservation authority from tmcplace.com in 3 minutes on Extreme Genes, America's Family History Show. Hey, Genies, it is Fisher, and I've got all of 60 seconds to catch you up on Season 4 and Episode 4 of BYU TV's Relative Race. First of all, Team Black not looking good because Joe got sick, but they still went to Sherrills Ford, North Carolina. Team Green wound up in Mississippi, where they met a first cousin who had an amazing revelation that left them in tears and may do the same for you. Team Red was in Massachusetts, in Yarmouth, having an amazing experience. And Team Blue? Well, they just disappeared. Plus, you're going to see one of the strangest challenges ever as these teams compete to meet new relatives and to win the $50,000 grand prize. Yeah, if you haven't seen Relative Race, you can catch it on BYU TV. You can stream it with the BYU TV app. It's absolutely free. Not only catch up on season 4, but all the past episodes from previous seasons. Do your binge watching. It's a great show made just for us. It's Relative Race on BYU TV.
Did you know that Family Search Family Tree is available through a powerful new mobile app experience? That's right. Now you can view, edit, and even add information to ancestors in your family tree whenever and wherever you are. You no longer need to wait to get home or make a date with your computer to view or update your family tree. You can add details to your tree when visiting with family or when capturing details from a trip to the cemetery. You can share new family history discoveries from classroom settings. You can even make the most of your time when waiting for doctor appointments or car repairs. Get started today by downloading the free Family Search Family Tree app to your Apple or Android device. Visit familysearch.org/tree app to get the Family Tree app for free. Exploring and expanding your family tree has never been more convenient. Visit familysearch.org/tree app to download the Family Search Family Tree mobile app today.
Legacy Tree Genealogist is a proud sponsor of Extreme Genes. Based in Salt Lake City, Utah, near the world's largest family history library, we've worked with genealogists all over the globe since 2004 to track down records, find your ancestors, and the stories that bring your legacy to life. We also analyze DNA test results, help you join lineage societies, and find missing cousins. Legacy Tree is the recommended research partner of MyHeritage.com and is the world's highest client-rated genealogy firm. Call us toll-free at 1-800-818-1476 or register online to get a free estimate. Right now, you can save up to $100 on professional genealogy research. But hurry, this offer expires at the end of the month. Even experienced researchers can benefit from our proven and experienced staff of specialists who can bring new approaches to old problems. Learn from our free genealogy tips on our blog at legacytree.com/blog. Legacy Tree Genealogists. We do the research. You enjoy the discoveries.
All right, back at it. Talking preservation with Tom Perry from tmcplace.com, our preservation authority. How you doing, Tommy?
I'm super fabulous.
Yes, you are. And here we go. The holiday season really is upon us right now. I mean, it's just crazy. Here it is, October, and yet we've really got to be thinking about these things because family history gifts are not normal Christmas gifts or holiday gifts. You got to put a lot of thought into them. You've got to put a lot of effort into them. There's often a time lag in between planning a project, executing it, putting it together, and creating the gift, and then figuring out how you're going to deliver that gift, right?
Exactly. That is so true. And a lot of things we need to really remember is remember in the old days, we bought a toy for one of our kids and they got it. They were so excited. And then batteries not included.
Yeah, right.
You didn't have the batteries.
That's true.
And so the same thing goes with storage, whether you're making brand new memories or whether you're taking old memories and making them available to other people. One of the biggest things we deal with today are SD cards. SD card is like a portable disc type thing, but they're very, very small. Almost every camera takes them. Computers you buy nowadays, whether it's a Macintosh or a PC, has little slots to put in SD cards. Almost every camera now takes SD cards. A lot of people have smartphones and they think there's no slot for an SD card on my phone, so I guess it doesn't affect me. Well, you can buy adapters that plug into the bottom of your iPhone, your Android, and then put an SD card in it, so that makes it really easy to share things.
Boy, that sounds so much easier than the process for a lot of storage. And a lot of the solutions, of course, have more to do with the cloud. So what's the advantage of an SD card over cloud storage?
Well, the thing with an SD card is instant, and it's not just for storage. An SD card is actually what it writes to. If you have a video camera and it doesn't have a built-in hard drive, it writes to the SD card. And there's so many different flavors of SD cards, you need to make sure you have the right one, because if you go to something really important, like a big Christmas party, and you have the wrong SD card, you can't say, oh, hey, let's do the party in an hour from now. I need to run to the store and try and find one that's open with the right SD card.
All right, so there are different types of SD cards. So how do these apply?
Okay, basically there'll be printing on them that helps you a lot. There'll be like SC, HC, XC, which stands for standard capacity, high capacity, extended capacity. If you're just storing small things, you don't need a big fancy one. But if you're shooting video, if you're shooting something like photos that have 4K or something that's going to take a lot of memory, then you want really, really fast cards. Like I always use at least an XC, which is 32 gigabytes to an entire terabyte on one little SD card. And the thing I like about those, it stores it in a format that's called exFAT, which is how we always do videos for people that want to be able to take their old film and edit it on their computer, because it does the best storage and it's really, really fast.
Wow. So we have these different sizes then. What do you think would be the most appropriate if you were shooting, say, a family history interview with grandma or grandpa?
That's a good question, because everybody understands CDs and how audio works. For instance, like a standard CD records at like 150 kilobytes per second. And if you find an SD card that has 8X on it or 10X or 14X, it means it goes that much faster than a CD. So if you're recording only audio, about anything with an X after it is going to work. But I'm the kind that always wants to make sure the glass is a little bit over half full. So I go with the XCs, because I know for sure I'm going to get the speed I need, even where in most situations an SC will work. And another thing you need to be careful of, always check the card in your camera before you use it, because most SD cards come from Panasonic, Toshiba, or SanDisk. They're the biggies. And if you use the wrong card, it may not even work in your camera. So always test drive it before you plan on using it.
Oh, boy, that would be the worst, right? You set up the whole interview thing, you've planned weeks in advance, and then the SD card doesn't work.
Exactly. So after the break, let's go into a little bit more detail. If you get an SD card, you might see a C as in Charlie on it, a U as in universe on it, or a V as in Victor. I'll explain these after the break.
All right, coming up in 3 minutes on Extreme Genes, America's Family History Show.
Looking for an easy way to show off your family history and share it with your family? Family Chartmasters offers beautiful custom pedigree art pieces and inexpensive family reunion draft charts in any design or size that fits your needs. With a free consultation at FamilyChartmasters.com, you can get started creating a new family masterpiece. Family Chartmasters has over 11 years of experience in creating and printing family charts. They can print any style of genealogy chart from any genealogy file and can create exactly what you're looking for. You'll work with a specialized and talented consultant whose goal is to make you happy. Decorative charts make fantastic gifts for all occasions. And with Family Chartmasters' option of ordering duplicate charts at half price along with your original purchase at full price, you can afford to give a family heirloom to each member of your family. Contact Family Chartmasters today at FamilyChartmasters.com for your free consultation. Family Chartmasters will give the greatest care to your family history.
When was the last time you heard your grandmother's voice or saw your family enjoying life back in the 1950s or 60s? If the reason is you haven't known what to do with your old recordings, videos, and films, here's your answer. The Multimedia Center in Salt Lake City.
We brought in a video project to the Multimedia Center, and overnight they duplicated it to DVD so we could meet our deadline.
The Multimedia Center, 2870 East, 3300 South, Salt Lake City. Open Monday through Friday, 10 to 6. Call 801-483-1717 or go to transferduplication.com.
Genies, it's Fisher with exciting news. The Weekly Genie, the official newsletter of Extreme Genes, is here. It's your Monday morning briefing on what's happening in the world of genealogy and family history and on Extreme Genes. Get all the details of jaw-dropping stories of discovery and keep up with the latest techniques in family history research. Get to know more about your favorite Extreme Genes personalities, and it's free. Sign up for the Weekly Genie now at extremegenes.com or the Extreme Genes Facebook page. And when you do, you'll receive David Allen Lambert's Top 10 Tips for Beginning Genealogists from the Chief Genealogist of the New England Historic Genealogical Society. Sign up today for the Weekly Genie. Hey, we're back back at it for our final segment of Extreme Genes, America's Family History Show. It is Fisher here, your radio root sleuth, talking to Tom Perry. He's our preservation authority from tmcplace.com. And we've been talking about storage and SD cards and speed. And frankly, Tom, you're way over my head, but I'm getting a little bit of this. And that's why we often go back and listen to the podcast version of the show, right? To pick up some of these details. And also check out the transcript of the show that you can always find at extremegenes.com when it comes out. So talk to us about speed now. You've talked about size and storage and speed, and these things somehow have to come together. And once again, an SD card is a tiny little drive, essentially, right?
Exactly. In fact, anybody that owns a smartphone actually has an SD card type of thing inside the phone that tells it this is your phone number, this is how you work. But they can only be used through AT&T or whoever your provider is. Where an SD card is built on the same principle, but it can be a storage device, it can be a temporary holding device, it can be a lot of different things. And in the first segment, we talked primarily about size, which size really does matter when you're talking about SD cards. We also need to talk about speed, because if you have a great big huge card, but yet you have a really slow speed and you're trying to do like 4K video or film, it's not going to work for you. So that's why the evolution of SD cards came up with the designations of C as in Charlie, U as in Universe, V as in Victor. If you see a C with like a 2, a 4, a 6, or an 8 in it, it means that's how many megabytes per second it will record. If you go to the next step, which is the U, you'll have a 1 or a 3, which usually means 30 or 10 megabytes per second. If you go to the Ultra, which is usually a V as in Victor, you'll see a 6, a 10, a 30, a 60, or a 90 inside the V, which means it's like 90 megabytes per second. So that's screaming fast if you're doing 4K video. Again, if you're just doing audio recording and you've got a little recorder that takes SD cards, you can get by with the slower speeds because you're just doing regular audio. So you need to find the balance between size and speed. So you need to find out what your ultimate goal is, and then work back from there so you get the right kind of card.
All right, so let's talk about the cost of the cheapest ones, the slowest ones, the least storage available ones would be around what price range?
Oh, you can get those for like, $10, $15. Sometimes they're even on sale on Amazon where you can get them even less than that. And I always recommend go with a brand that you trust. If you don't know, stick with Panasonic, Toshiba, or ScanDisk because theirs are always good quality.
So how am I overspending in this situation? If I get the real fast one, the big storage one, what's the high end on price?
Okay, if you look at something like a 32 gigabyte, which is an XC card, which is the XFAT system, and then you go to, say, a V90, you're going to have this huge card that's screaming fast that you could probably buy a used Volkswagen for the same price. So you want to be really, really careful. It's way over storage. If you're just using audio, there's no way in the world you're going to need a 1 terabyte. Just like on your computer. If you're doing small things, you don't need a terabyte hard drive to take with you. You can get by with small ones. If you're playing gaming and things that use a lot of memory, you need a big card, just like you need a big hard drive. And then the speed is important. If you're doing video editing on your computer or you're transferring your own home movies or videos, you know you need a fast processor or your computer won't keep up with the speed of your tape. So that's where the C, U, and V comes in. It ties the speed in with the size of the card.
All right, Tom, great stuff as always, and you've given us a head full, but you've also given us something to look up and examine a little bit more and get ourselves educated on. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you again next week.
My pleasure.
Wow, we covered a lot of ground this week. If you missed the show, make sure you catch the podcast on extremegenes.com, on iTunes, on iHeartRadio. Of course, we talked about DNA and better ways to utilize your Ancestry.com results to find matches, to extend your family lines, and find more family stories and photographs. Hey, if you haven't done so yet, make sure you sign up for our weekly Genie newsletter. Just go to extremegenes.com. You'll find the link right there. It's absolutely free. Talk to you again next week. Thanks for joining us, and remember, as far as everyone knows, we're a nice, normal family.